All right, my friends, today's Revit tip is going to be about line weights, how line weights work in Revit and how I set up my own line weights so that I can more easily detail when I'm working in Revit. Okay, so without any further ado, let's just go to Revit and see what we can see. Share screen with my friends. There it is, share. Okay, so here we are. Okay, let's go to the plan here, and that might help us. Let's just talk a little bit about line weights. I'm going to zoom in here, and you're going to see right off the bat some different line weights. Hey, wait a minute. Where do these come from? How does this work? All right, let me just talk to you. In Revit, everything has got a line weight associated with it, assigned to it, okay? And you get to actually set up those line weights in your own firm and your own practice, okay? And I wouldn't just randomly change the line weights every time you do a project. You should probably set up the line weights in your office template so that it's the same for every single project that you do, okay? So when you start a new project, the walls look the same, the furniture looks the same from project to project to project. But I'm going to show you how to set it up and how they work. So let's just look. Look on my screen here. What we've got is a wall here. Now, the outside line of the wall that wraps around on the inside too, that has a thicker line weight, you'll notice, than these inner lines. You notice that? And those are thicker than some of the hatching that's going on inside the wall. These are set up in Revit. I'm going to show you how to do it. You'll notice that the line weights of this window are different, even in the window. The glass is a different line weight than the mullions, and the mullions are a different line weight than the frame. You can set this up in Revit so that they're all different. Take a look at this toilet over here. The toilet has got a different line weight than the wall. Every single thing in Revit has got different line weights associated with it. Now I'm going to show you where these are, and then we're going to talk about them a little bit, okay? So let's just go. I'm going to go to Manage and Object Styles, and then this chart pops up. This chart is a global setting. So if you change something here, it changes everywhere. So let's just say best example is the wall we were just looking at. Okay, I'm going to pull this out of the way so you can see that wall. And this wall right here, in fact, let me just hit cancel for a second. I'm going to move the wall over there so that when I go to Manage Object Styles, it's not blocking the wall. Okay, here we go. This line around the outside of the wall is called the cut line. And I'll show you what's going on with, I'm going to open this up so you guys can see it. Every object, every category has got projection and cut, and there's numbers assigned to them. These are the line weights, okay? Work with me here. Revit has simplified it to a single number, even though behind the scenes, and I'll show you behind the scenes in a minute, behind the scenes, the exact millimeter, the exact line weights are set for the pen weights, but that's something else I'll show you. They have reduced it to simplify it so that it's just numbers 1 through 16. 1 being the finest line and 16 being the widest line. Most projects don't use but about 4 or 5 lines anyway, but I'm just saying there's up to 16 if you need them, but you won't. Believe me, you won't need them all. It's just silly. But let me just show you what I've got. Here is the projection. That means stuff over there. Like if you see in an elevation, a wall in elevation over there, it represents itself with the number that's in this column projection. And we'll scroll down to wall and see what it is. Walls have a 2. So that means if I see a wall, a line that a wall is making off in the distance in an elevation view, it's going to be a 2 line weight. But if I cut through it, this column comes into play. I cut through the object. And in this plan projection over here next to this toilet, this wall is being cut 4 foot off of the floor, okay? If I had a wall that was shorter, it would show up as a 2. You guys with me? So there's the 2 and the 4. And I'm going to prove it right now. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to click on this wall. I'm going to hit create similar. And if I put a piece of wall in, I'm cutting through it, right? So it's going to present itself with a 4 all the way around. But if I click on that wall and I go over to its properties and I tell it that it's only going to be 2 foot tall, okay, take a look. Now it is shorter than my cut plane, which is 4 feet off the floor, and it presents itself, I'm seeing the top of this wall because it's only 2 foot tall, and it presents itself with the projection number, the 2, okay? And if I raise it up, I'm going to raise it up to like 5 feet, it should, there's 10 feet, come on. When I raise it up above the cut plane, it is now representing the cut, okay? It just needed to get up above the 4 foot cut plane. Why it didn't do it at 5, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Sometimes Revit gives you these weird things. Okay, so I could probably take this thing back down to 5 feet. It's okay. I've got something weird going on with this particular wall, but just ignore the person behind the curtain, okay? Anyway, this represents itself as a cut. And if in a section, I'm going to come over here to a section through the wall, it represents itself, this wall is representing itself as a cut wall, not as a projected wall, okay? So this is, in my section, this is a 4, okay? Now, it just so happens that I need to show you a little bit more about walls. Let's go back to the plan, okay? These internal lines that are the divisions between objects inside the wall, like the different materials. This is brick, this is an airspace, okay? And then we've got there's some sheathing and some metal studs and then some more gypboard on it, okay? The division between the different materials, there's a line drawn there, and those are called common lines. I'm going to show you. If I go to object styles and I scroll down to walls, and I expand this a little bit, boom, by hitting that. Look at this. Common, I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Common edges are set at 2s. That's that. These are common edges between materials. That's where you're getting that line weight right there if you need to change it, okay? So let me say, let me just change something for you. The walls where they're cut is set to a 4, okay? And black. Let me just change it to a 6 and show you. I'm going to hit apply. Boom. See how that darkened up over there? And if I change that wall to, it's a 6, coming back down to walls. Come on. 6, and let's pick a color. Purple. 6 and purple. Bam. Wait for it, it's doing it everywhere. Boom. So what we've got here is global settings that I've just changed. And that's probably a bad idea because now it's going to happen on my first floor plan, my second floor plan. It's happening everywhere. In fact, in my section, if I go to my section, look, it's happening everywhere. So you got to be really careful with these object styles, changing things globally. But I just want to explain the line weights to you guys. Okay, let me put this back to black so that I don't, it doesn't mess. And I'm going to put it back to a 4 so that it matches everywhere. Okay, so back to, boom, we're back to normal, okay? So these line weights are embedded in everything. The furniture has a line weight associated with it. The doors have a line weight associated with it. Windows, everything has got line weights. Okay. And I'm going to show you now, wait for it. I'm going to show you where the line weight settings are, but I don't want you to mess with them. Okay. Just leave them alone. We'll get further into this. If you go to manage additional settings, okay, and you come down here to line weights and you click on it, you get this massive chart. And I can't believe I'm showing you where this is because I do not want you to change this stuff. You can really mess up, especially if you change a whole bunch of stuff and then you save it to your template. You're going to have to email me and have me send you a screenshot of this so that you can get, in fact, you can come back to this video to set things back how they're supposed to. Okay. All right. Let me just show you. We've got all the line weights. And the cool thing about Revit is that it changes what a 1 means. Well, it can change what a 1 means in any of the different scales. So the line weight is going to actually change on most of these depending on what scale the view is at. But it just so happens that 1 doesn't. That was a bad example on my part, but look at what I'm talking about. It's a 0.0030 inches, okay? That's like tenths, hundreds, thousands, 3 1,000ths of an inch for all the different scales. So it is the same line everywhere. But let's just look at the 5. The number 5, which Revit just reduces this to a number to help speed your life up so that you don't have to worry about all these other little numbers. Let's look at a 5. At 1 inch equals a foot, it is a 0.025 inches, okay? And it does that again at ½ an inch scale, but look at a quarter, it changes. And at 1/8, it changes. And at 1/16, it changes. And at 32nd of an inch, it changes. So these line weights change as the scale gets smaller, the actual line weight gets smaller, so it doesn't get all muddied for you. But they have done a pretty good job in Revit of setting this chart up. So just leave it like it is and start memorizing. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to say X. I'm going to close it. Start memorizing what line weights things are, or get to know your template. If you have set the outside line as a 4, you can, for walls, or a 5 or a 6, just start noting that, because when you start detailing, you're going to want to use similar numbers in your details so that they look exactly the same. See? So that things represent themselves properly. Now, let me show you what kind of line weights I've got set up in my project. For when I get to detailing, I want to match these things, okay? So let me just show you. If you go to annotate and you click on detail line, this drop down here, this drop down shows you the different lines that are available for you. And I have made these, I've made all these lines. What Revit ships with are just down here. They ship with thin lines, medium lines, wide lines. See these ones with brackets on them? That it ships with that. But, and you won't have these others up here that I've created. But let me just show you what I've done. I've made brand new line weights for all of my detailing, okay? I made 1s, I made a couple 2s, a 3, a 4, and so on. So I just want to show you these, but I named them appropriately so they match the weight that they are, so that I can quickly say, I need a 4. Okay, and I would go bam right there. You can, the name over here is less important than the number. So let me just show you what I've got. I made a hidden line for 1, and that's whenever there's something hidden, I just draw there. And I've got a thin line, which you guys know that's a 1. Okay, so let's just jump to 2s. The 2, I made a dash. Okay, I made a dash 2, and then I've got a solid 2. Okay, just showing you what I got. And then I got a 3. I didn't need a dash 3, I've just got a 3, and I've just got a 4. See how they're getting bigger as we go? And then I've got a 5, and then I've got a 6. Okay, and that's about where I stopped for normal ones. I made a 7 that is a red line. Made it crooked there, but who cares? La, la, la. The reason I made one called red line is because I'm sitting here, let's just say I'm moving around, looking at my project, and I'm working on it, and I go, oh, wow, the stair doesn't go against the wall all the way over here. So I'll use a detail line and just put a big box around this thing. And then I'll say, hey, I'll just put a little note in here to myself that says that this needs to be, I'll just type a little note right here that says this needs to, the stair needs to touch the wall. And so these are really apparent. When you're just glancing at your floor plan, it's really easy to see a red line. You can use this to communicate information to other people on the team if you want. You say, hey, we need to rearrange this furniture. So I don't like the way it is. You can go detail line, red line, and just put an X in there. Say, you know what, that needs to be fixed. Okay, that's it, whatever. So anyway, back to the lines that I've made. I've made some other lines in here just for fun. I have added just to make my life easier when I'm working on projects. Let's just skip down. I've got some egress paths here, and I've got a smoke type partition. If one of my, I'm going to show you what it looks like. If one of my walls is a smoke type partition, I'll put a line in it to indicate that for people like that. That right there is a smoke type partition toilet. In fact, stink type partitions, type partition. Okay. Here's a 1 hour rating. I made this line weight, boom, 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 boom. See how it puts a dash and a 1 dot in between? That is shows for a 1 hour rating. And then I made another line weight that has 2 dots. That'd be for a 2 hour rating. And then it's rare, but if it ever came up that you had a 3 hour rating, I've never actually seen one in a project. In fact, I can't believe I made that. So I'm going to quit it. So look, I've made a 1 hour, a 2 hour, and a smoke type partition. Easy making these lines up. And I'm going to show you right now how to make them if you need them. Okay, so here we go. Line weights. You need to make a line. If you need to make a new line, and you may want to in your template, here's how you do it. Go up to Manage and click on Additional Settings and come right here to Line Styles. When it pops up, it's always compressed like this, and you always have to open it up, okay? And this is all the lines that I've made right here, okay? So let me just show you guys how to make a new one. Let's just say I want to have a number 4 dashed that's blue for some reason, okay? So here's what I would do. I would click this button down here that says New. And it says, what name would you like it to be? And so I would say 4, because I always put the number of what it's going to be. 4 dash blue line, blue dash. That's good enough. 4 blue dash, okay? And it pops in alphanumerically, which is going to be perfect for me to find it faster. It's a 4. So it always gives it to you as a 1, and you have to change the line weight right there to a 4 or whatever number you've picked. And then you can change the line color. Okay, I'm just going to say blue. So it's ready to use. So I can say, okay, so if I want, let's just say I'm going to use that for whenever I am putting an addition in the future to this building, this fantastic building, I'm going to use this blue dash line. So I'm going to go DL on the keyboard. And on this drop down, I just come up to 4. Look at that, blue dash, bam. And this is where, did I not make it a dash? Oh, we're going to go back and fix it. Oops. Okay. This is my, this is so funny. I forgot to make it a dash. All right, back to the drawing boards. Okay. Additional settings, line styles, expand it. Remember, see how it compresses this every time? Hello, Autodesk, if you're watching, can you make that not compress every single time? Okay, open up. So if I come down here to blue dash, I did make it a 4 and I made it blue, but look, I left it the line pattern as solid. So all I got to do is click in that box, and on the drop down, I'm going to make it dash. Okay, bam. And so there it is. And if I think that that's not bold enough and I need to change it maybe to a, let's make it an 8. That should be changed to an 8. Watch the process of changing these. You go to additional settings off the Manage tab, line styles, expand this yet again, and I'm going to come down to the 4 blue dash. Now, you highlight it, and there's a button over here for renaming it. I'm going to rename that 8 blue dash. It immediately moves to the correct location alphanumerically. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change it to the 8 like I told it was going to be. And that's all I need to do, okay? The blue and the dash stay the same. So when I say okay, it updates immediately everywhere it's being used in my project. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys how line weights work in a project and how to make your own lines in a project. And this is for detailing. Oh yeah, one last thing. If you're doing a detail and you want to use a filled region, you can use different line weights around that filled region. You don't have to use the same line weight all the way around. So look at this. I'm going to go to annotate. I'm going to click on region, filled region. And right now it says it's going to be a concrete filled region, but that's not what I wanted to show you mostly. Here's the drop down for the different line weights. You can pick what you want for your piece of concrete. I'm just going to show you. You can go thin line, click, 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 click. You go thin line for a little ways. And then I'm going to say I would like to go with a dashed line for a little ways. Okay, look at that. Going dashed. Okay. And then I'm going to go with a wide line, number 6, wide line for a little bit. And then I'm going to finish up with a smoke tight partition right across to there. So we've used different line weights. And when I check the box, okay, it gives me my concrete and it represents itself with these different line weights. So don't think that when you're making your details and you're putting in filled regions that you have to use the same line weight all the way around. You can change it up, just saying. So now you guys should be able to make your own line weights, make your own line types in Revit. So I hope that helps you guys. I hope it explains a little bit about line weights and how they work in Revit. And so, and if you guys have any questions about this, then just ask them in the comments below and we'll go from there. I'll answer them the best I can. All right. Well, that's all for today. Until next time, happy Reviting. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.